Hello guys and welcome back. So let's keep on going. Alright, so after we have those things loaded up, we can actually start to initialize a window. So we can do glfw window hint to hint what kind of window are we creating. Right, we can hint a few things. First thing we want to hint is the OpenGL version. So context version major. And then we're using the version 4.6 to be exact. Basically, that's what GLAD is doing for us, right? So if you do recall GLAD, and we're doing this, we're loading the 4.6. So glfw has to know what OpenGL is working with. Okay, and again, that's part of the GLAD job. And then glfw window hint, and we also have to specify that manner. Okay, and then that's also 4. Okay, all right, and then we can also do glfw window hint one more time, and this time we're defining the profile, right? glfw OpenGL profile, OpenGL profile, and that's glfw OpenGL and we'll do a core profile, because again, that's what we specified when we were doing GLAD, right? We're doing the core profile. Okay, basically we're telling glw, hey, in terms of the OpenGL version we're using, right? That's the important things you need to know, right? That's what what our GLAD is. Again, this is the actual OpenGL loader, right? It's the one that's specifying the OpenGL version and finding the correct functions to call. Again, glfw has to work with that and has to know the basic informations. Okay, alrighty. So after that, right, we're gonna try and create the window. So glfw create window. Okay, and we need to specify width and height. Oh, of course, we need to also create a variable to contain that. That's glfw window pointer window will be equals to that. And then yeah, there are a bunch of arguments we have to specify, like width and height. Okay, so I guess I can use constant variables for that. Constant int window width will be equals to 800, and then constant int window height will be equals to, no, let's use something more modern, Full HD. So it's 1920 by 1080. So I want to use that window width and window height, and then title, right? OpenGL render window, maybe, right? And then monitor doesn't really care. I'm just gonna go for a null pointer and null pointer for both the last two arguments. You can of course search for what they do. You can just basically copy that, right? And then you can go search for that, right? And then I believe there is a library for for the basics, right? You can look for that, but that's just the library specific, right? So it's helpful to read through this. We can't cover everything, and I don't know everything about it, right? So if you wanted to be very, because this is not too simple, of course, right? Graphic programming is always gonna complicate it. So if you wanted to know more, right, read through the documentation. But that's the very standard setting for Windows, at least. Okay, and then we need to then go ahead and set the context to be so set current or make context. Yeah, that's what we do to tell the window to be the window we use. Okay, all right, that should pop up the window already. If we just run it, we'll be seeing the window pops up just real quick and then be gone. That makes total sense, because well, you create a window, you make it current, it's showing up, and then runs to the next code, which is print that, and then you're done with the program. So we need to, of course, have a loop to keep showing the window, right? So we need to do a while loop, and then not GLFW window should close, and then we pass in window as the argument, right? As long as the window is not should close, right? So it's still open, then we keep running, right? So that should keep it running, I think. Let's take a look at that, right? Run this again. And you can see you have the window pops up. However, right, it doesn't really allow us to do anything because the while loop just keeps looping. We didn't tell the window to do anything, right? I'm gonna close that. Okay, I'm gonna reduce that count because that's my whole resolution. Let me reduce that by to the SD version. So 2080 by 720. So yeah, so we need to do something here. One of the very common thing to do is to GL FW swap GLFW swap buffer, right? So we'll swap the buffer of the window, okay, and then GLFW pull event. That will pull the events, okay. And that's two things we need to set up to get the window gonna know what to do, right? When we're pulling event, we can do close the window, for example. So if we run this again, right, we should see the window pops up and we can drag it around now. It's pulling the events, right? It's doing its thing. It's swapping the buffers, and we can close that when we want it to. So this part works, okay. Now just to advance a few more, we can then say, okay, GL clear color. We're going to define the color, the background color, of course, and that's going to be a 4-dimensional vector. So we have red, green, blue, and alpha. I can choose something that's quite neutral looking, so 0.3 and 0.1 maybe for RGB, and then for alpha has to be 1.0. Okay, of course that's not enough. We actually have to clear the canvas, so we do a GL clear and then GL buffer color buffer bit or buffer color bit. It's gonna be one of it. GL color buffer bit. Yeah, that's gonna tell OpenGL to clear the color, right? Otherwise, if you don't clear the color, the new color will be just drawn on top of the previous color. Basically, you're not erasing the previous frame before you run and before you draw new things. So that's important here. Okay, alrighty. So that's the common thing you need to set up. Run this again. I'll be seeing like a different background color. Oh, actually, I got an arrow here. Access violation executing location in there. So that's not good. I'm going to go ahead and stop this. Okay. And let's see. I guess we probably need to move that down somewhere to tell it where to load it. That's one of the reasons. Okay, let me try this again. Yeah, that works. Okay, so you need to load the function later, right? Anyway, so yeah, that's gonna be it. I think that's gonna be it for this video. It's 8 minutes. Moving on to the next, I'm gonna talk about how we can maybe draw something right on this blank background. Okay, see you guys next time.